Welcome to the Pandemonium Witches podcast, where the AD is in the HD, the true crime is as scary as the ghost stories, and the hosts are as cunning as foxes. I'm Kat.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Em.
And I'm Meg.
Now on to the show.
Hello.
Guten Tag.
Hello.
So, welcome, Sylvia, to the shit show.
Hi.
So, my friend that we did the Reddit story on the second episode, which
Yes,
listeners haven't heard yet, but we heard, the haunted rocking horse. She is in Romania. It's like a little hamlet outside Romania. No, Transylvania. Excuse me. Somewhere in that.
I've been there, and it's
in that
pretty
area.
cool.
Yes, it is super pretty. However, it's also super haunted.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. So she was watching it, and I sent you guys the play-by-play, and she goes, "It's interesting," and I was like, "Interesting, good or bad?" She goes, "Very good. American people." Yeah. I'm like, well, now I want to do like Canadian and Transylvanian and.
Yeah, that's Henry with his shirt on.
Oh my God, so
Look at the
cute.
distinguished gentleman.
Oh yes, no thoughts, only vibes in here.
Oh, so single brain cell.
No brain cell.
No brain cell.
No brain cell.
One of the two Huskies has one, and then the Akita has the rest of them.
Ah, okay, so normal.
Are we showing dogs?
Oh yeah, here.
Do you have the fart machine?
Yes, we do.
That is Tier.
Yes,
Hey.
with a close picture of his butt. But
This is my side of the bed. He kicked me off my side of the bed. He stole my blanket.
As
He
he
stole
should.
both my
Ooh.
blankets.
Oh,
and then on Zoe's screen, that was my fur niece Oreo.
Oh yeah, I gotta pick up her food bowl, or Henry will get the shits later.
Yeah, because he likes her eating her food. It does not
Everyone
like
likes
him.
eating her food. Her food is tasty.
So you don't have to tell us where you work. But like, are you a pediatric doc? Do you work in geriatric?
Oh, I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner.
She has lots of letters. She has lots of letters
letters.
behind her name.
I'm an MA RT PRT working on my BS.
Nice.
So I have my medical assistant, I have my rad tech, I have my phlebotomy, and PRT. I work up front now. I have 2 jobs. I now check people in, and then I stab their children.
She's very good at the
Someone's
stab.
got to.
Yes. So we
And
normally.
you're the person to tell me to stab the children.
Yes.
Yes.
So I have a question. Like, what is your? Because you are very excited about true crime. I know you were telling me that Rachel and you went to a true crime museum.
Oh no, my fiance did.
Your fiance
Yes.
did. Okay.
Yes, yeah, in Savannah.
Okay. All right.
the baby is also haunted as hell.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the name of that museum?
It was a museum of like oddities or something,
It's like
curiosities.
gravestones and something. But yeah, it's like a
You said
oddities and curiosities museum. They've got a whole section on Satanism, and then like a whole section on like true crime. So they've got a sorry. They've got a Henry. Hold it down. Go on.
We have a Henry.
Sorry guys, he thinks I'm talking to him. So they've got a whole section on murderers and serial killers. And like John Wayne Gacy's stuff is all there, like all of his paintings.
Oh shit!
And then they've got packets of the Flavor Aid from Jonestown.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that is on the list of stuff to cover, Emily.
It was pretty wicked.
Speaking of, John Wayne Gacy, have y'all seen Quiet on Set?
Yes.
I have
Yes.
not yet.
Rachel has not, so we can't talk about it.
Cool. Future.
Yes.
Put a pin in it. It's called the Gray Face Museum.
There we
I
go.
looked it
Yes,
up.
thank you. I was like, the Greystone? No, that's not right.
And I was like, I know she sent me a picture of it, and I can't find it.
Yeah, it's the Gray Face Museum. It has
that one.
information and immersive glimpse into human condition through actual artifacts and decades worth of research on topics ranging from true crime, cults, sideshow history, 1950s roadside attractions, secret societies, and the occult.
I love that.
So you won when we switched everything over. You were the only person who was actually making guesses. No. So you get to guest star on 1 to 2 episodes. We're still figuring that out.
Because trying to plan schedules.
Yeah. Yes.
So difficult. So Rachel told me that you have something special planned for us today.
I do. So working in healthcare, angels of death is always sort of fascinating because there's lots of different reasons for why people go into healthcare and then, turn to serial killing or are a serial killer and then go into healthcare. But the one that sort of fascinates me has been in the news kind of recently internationally, Lucy Letby from England.
Yes, Em.
Yes, Emily.
I've been obsessed with this story.
Oh my god! And it's fascinating because, and I think the part that really sort of fascinates me the most is there were so many opportunities for someone to stop her, and then they didn't.
I don't know anything about this story.
I know everything about this story.
I know only very small bits.
Please stand by as we are currently experiencing technical difficulties. So you're in a bedroom now, right?
I am in the office, which I thought my fiance was crazy when he said, you can't hear anything in this office, but you literally can't hear.
I can't hear any reverb at all. So
there's no
perfect.
Perfect.
I can't hear a peep from the other rest of the house. So I've got let me turn the camera on. I've got his window open so that I can see the backyard, specifically because I should have locked the door, but I didn't lock the door. It's not very true crime of me. But so I've got the back door, it's unlocked, but this way I can see the back porch.
Awesome.
But because I literally shut the door in here and I was like, I can't hear a damn thing. I don't know if the previous owners replaced that. They must have replaced that door because that is a giant fucking gap here. Hold on.
Somebody soundproofed that door. Or that
giant gap underneath that door. I've never noticed that before.
So they probably had carpet in the hallway before.
Maybe.
So
it's possible, they've replaced a lot of stuff in this house, but
if there was
wonder
carpet in the hallway, there's.
Yeah, I wonder if they replaced that door with a better door though.
May have.
Anyway, because I can't hear anything. I can't hear the dogs in the rest of the house. I mean, Oreo's obviously in here because she's chill and she's gonna lay there and go to sleep.
Like she does.
But I can't hear the huskies, and I'm sure they're losing their mind. So
Mom's in another room.
This was the perfect place to put his office. So there's that.
I mean,
I need to go outside and water them at some point.
It's mainly the ceiling.
Probably.
I can actually see the ceiling because when we recorded before, the ceiling was so vaulted, when you would speak, there would be a reverb of 3 words. Anyways.
No. Anyway.
So, you're a doctor.
I have a doctorate of nursing practice, so yes.
Sweet. So you're
nurse practitioner?
Yes.
Yes.
She paid for that doctor.
Yes, you did.
Up front of her name.
Did pay for that doctorate. Blood, sweat, and tears, baby.
So,
you know, an additional $20,000 in student loan debt.
Oh, Jesus. Sweet Christmas. I mean,
yeah, and
speaking of murder, because we've gotten
we're so sidetracked. Speaking of murder.
Because we're the ADHD Autistic Field podcast here for your listening glory. Speaking of murder, before we changed venues and avenues, Sylvia was the only person who actually rightly guessed 3 serial killers 3 weeks in a row. So she gets to read a murder of her choosing. Because, of course, that's how we say it. Murder.
That kills people, Carl.
That kills people, Carl. Carl, that's murder. Josh is in the desert, covered in dirt. We are nice in our pajamas, drinking coffee and water and having our beverages. Sylvia, what murderous tales are we discussing today?
We are discussing probably the worst child serial killer in the entire history of England.
England.
Correct.
Okay. And she murdered children, like toddlers or
infants.
No.
Yeah. Not the babies.
Not the babies. This is gonna make me really sad, isn't it?
Probably. It's
Fucking
also gonna make you really mad.
Okay, well, I mean, most of the time I'm very mad at these serial killers because I'd be like, well, if it were me, I'd give a cinnamon roll. I won't commit murder. Like larceny, maybe. But.
Yeah, it's so anger is probably the only way I got through like her whole timeline of killings because, it's rough. Okay, so Lucy Letby, she was 25 to 26 at the time of the killing. She's currently 34 years old. She's serving a life sentence.
She's still alive.
Still alive. England doesn't have the death penalty.
Well, what in the shit? No, hold on. They had hangings back in the day. I know that's
They did, but they've done away with the death penalty.
Those whores.
Too cruel.
Too cruel to kill a murderer. Oh, imagine that.
The last person, if memory serves me, and it is possible that my memory does not serve me,
because stroke.
Memory serves me right. I think the last person executed in the United Kingdom was a prisoner of war in World War II.
Please hold. Asha, double check that.
We're gonna put the holding music right here.
Okay, so apparently the death penalty in Britain was not abolished for all crimes until 1998.
What? So it's
but the last
fairly recent.
It's gone.
But the last people executed in the UK were Peter Allen and Gwen Evans on August 13th, 1964.
What in the hell? That is ridiculous.
Anyway, she's serving a life sentence, along with she's one of like 3 women, I think, in the United Kingdom who's serving life sentence for murder. She was charged and convicted on 7 counts of murder and 7 counts of attempted murder. She pled not guilty on all charges.
Okay.
Now, those the 7 and the 7 that she was convicted on are not the charges that were laid on her to start with. I think it was like 19 total, or yeah, I think it was 19 total. 19 total charges going into trial. However, the Cheshire Constabulary now believes that there may be more victims at her previous hospital, where 2 infants died during her training. An investigation is ongoing. They think there may be 30 to 40 more potential victims so far.
What?
Yes.
So
The hell.
right. So let me just process this. Okay, so she was training to be
a nurse.
To be a nurse.
Yep.
We love our nurses. We love our nurses. They make sure that doctors don't kill us. But when they're doing the killing, excuse me,
It's where you gotta draw the line.
right.
Yep.
So there were 2 that had died in her care when she was
unclear if they were while she was there for her training. 2 infants had died, and the investigation's ongoing.
There are several things I would like to say to her, but we're gonna just keep going.
So all of this took place at the Counties of Cheshire Hospital in their NICU.
Okay.
And then, so just for like a rough picture here, prior to June of 2015, the number of deaths on the unit averaged 2 to 3 a year.
Okay.
Let's start there, which is actually
That's
pretty
pretty
low for a NICU, and
Right.
Yeah.
they're doing a great job there. Good job.
So it's just NICU, not PICU, right?
Just NICU.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
low.
Right? That's really
Yes.
good statistics.
So starting June 8th, 2015, child A, who was premature but otherwise healthy, died within 90 minutes of her coming onto the shift.
That's really fast.
Yeah.
A fellow nurse stated she saw Lucy standing over the infant's crib while he was deteriorating, and Lucy was not intervening. Doctors who attended the child see an unusual blue and white mottling on his skin after collapsing, which they'd never seen before. But this discoloration was to be seen again in other babies, who were believed to have been injected with air.
Oh my god. That's horrible.
Well, it is horrible, and it's also like one of the worst ways to go, because doesn't air
emblems are pretty terrible. Yeah.
Right, air embolisms,
Yeah.
they give you a heart attack, right?
Yep.
Holy shit. Heart attacks are painful, man. Like, you know those 10 units that you stick on your gut to mimic the side effects? Stick that on your chest.
No, thank you.
It's
No thanks.
No, I went to a health conference, and it was when I was working at the hospital, medical assistant. They were like, you can go to the conference and you can get CEs. This is what a heart attack feels like. This is 1/10. No, in a little baby? Okay.
No, gracias.
I want her.
No.
I am mad. Okay, yes, you were right. I am mad. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Lucy then searched for his parents on Facebook after finishing her shift, and then again the night after she attempted to murder his sister.
Ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. So then June 9th to the 11th, child B, child A's twin, 28 hours after the death of child A, collapsed and had to be resuscitated. Shortly after, the parents were encouraged to go home. So, they had been standing guard at their child's bedside, for the last 28 hours.
Right.
Lucy came back on shift, encouraged them to go home, said, fine, I'm going to watching her like a hawk or whatever. Fed the infant 25 minutes before her collapse, and she had the same unusual modeling as her brother.
Of course she did. Suspicious circumstances, air quotes.
Mm-hmm. June 14th. Child C, who was in good condition despite being premature and weighing 800 grams, suddenly collapsed. Lucy was seen standing over his crib despite not being his nurse when the alarms were going off. Lucy's shift supervisor stated she had already told Lucy to focus on her own patients and had to repeatedly pull Lucy away from child C's bedside as the infant died.
No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
June 22nd, 2015. Child D, who was improving and stable, collapsed 3 times before ultimately dying. Those present during the resuscitation attempts noticed skin discoloration. A postmortem x-ray found a line of air in front of the spine, consistent with air being injected in the bloodstream.
And they didn't... Okay. All right, I'm just going to shut up. Okay.
July 2nd, 2015. Dr. Brewery, one of the neonatologists in the unit, carried out a review of the previous 3 deaths. The director of nursing / deputy chief executive was told that Lucy was the only nurse on shift for all 3 deaths. Lucy remained on the unit. The hospital classified the deaths as medication errors.
But, okay.
Air embolism
is not.
It's not medication error.
No.
It's very
medication
much
error
not.
is, oh, I gave you a little bit too much painkillers. Or, oh, I accidentally gave you the wrong medicine. That is medical error. Not injecting air into their lines and killing them.
Right.
Not enough air to kill them. A grown adult can survive a small amount of air being injected in the bloodstream. And by small, I mean like a bubble.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bitty bit.
Where was I? Okay, so then we fast forward to August 4th, 2015. Child E's mother, now Child E was making excellent progress, doing well. Child E mother walked in on Lucy in her child's room with fresh blood around his mouth and saw the infant in distress, with Lucy telling her that the bleeding came from his rubbing his feeding tube and to calm down. He died hours later after losing approximately a quarter of his blood, and the skin on his abdomen was also purple and white.
No.
Pretty sure the blood wasn't from his feeding tube rubbing.
No.
Yeah. It gets worse.
Of course it gets worse. It's a murder podcast.
It always gets worse.
Just wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. There's always more.
August 5th, 2015. Child F, Child E's twin, had a sudden drop in his blood glucose. Testing would show that he had extremely high levels of insulin in his blood and low C-peptide levels, which is an enzyme that tells your body, I don't know how this works. And it's an enzyme that tells your body to produce insulin.
Mm-hmm.
Consistent with an insulin overdose.
Were all of these kids twins?
Not all of them. Some of them were singletary, but she did seem to have a preference for multiples.
A penchant for the twin.
Yes.
I'm not hungry. Sorry.
Lucy suggested that someone else must have done this at her trial. She did admit that, obviously somebody gave this child extra insulin, but it wasn't her. Somebody else must have done it.
Yeah, no. No.
She then searched for the parents of the twins on Facebook in the months following.
What is it with her and social media?
These twins
leave
were
the grieving families alone.
Right.
Yeah, these twins were IVF babies. They weren't even supposed to be at this hospital, but it was the closest one when mom went into labor.
Those poor mothers.
September 7th, 2015. Child G, on her 100th day of being alive, she was improving and stable, they were literally throwing her a birthday party. She collapsed for the first of 3 times in the following 3 weeks. On September 21st, she had another episode of projectile vomiting after a documented feed by Lucy. She now has cerebral palsy from the brain damage.
So, yay, she survived, but...
At
what cost?
Yeah.
Letby falsified her vitals, so she looked unwell, and changed the timing of a feed so it looked like a colleague had fed her.
No!
Yes. A colleague noted that the monitor was off during one of the collapses when Letby had called for help.
Because silencing it is one thing. Completely turning it off is entirely different.
Right.
Yeah. And one of the physicians who had attended the resuscitation was like, oh, well, maybe we just didn't hook her back up to the monitor after whatever. We put her on auction, and it was like, that seems weird. October 23rd, 2015. Child eye collapsed 4 times over the course of her hospitalization. Twice, Lucy was found near the child at the time of collapse. Before the second collapse, Lucy had said to the primary nurse that she looked pale while looking into a darkened room, and upon turning on the light, the primary nurse said she saw that the baby was not breathing.
I'm sorry, how could you see into a darkened room if the child was pale?
From across the room, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Standing in the doorway, looking into the darkened room.
And I mean, it's not like, okay, so we all know medical. For people listening, when you look into like for NICU, they have these sort of like, it's like a incubator that they're in. It's not like a normal bassinet that you see on like the TV shows or anything like that. If you've watched Grey's Anatomy, those incubators are actually pretty spot on with the holes and the little, areas where you can reach in. So there's no way I would understand if it was a bassinet. But the fact that it is an incubator, because it's NICU, from across, no fucking way. What is she? I mean, I'm the psychic. She's not. I know she's not.
I mean, listen, because I work in the PICU. I have a hard time, like, standing at the doorway of a room that's got like the lights off and being able to like see the coloration of a child. Because I used to work nights, and like lights are off because it's bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
You don't turn the lights on if you don't have to.
Right. You let them sleep.
You have to be in the room, right? Like you can't just... Anyway. X-rays showed that the child had an enlarged stomach consistent with air being deliberately forced into it.
Ooh,
so not like a little air, a lot.
Stop sending me stuff to spend my money.
You wanted the link for the Dolly Parton cast irons. I just sent it to you.
I know.
I was thinking they would have a larger selection. They don't.
Sylvia, I am addicted to Dolly Parton, just to let you know. Totally off topic. Sorry. I apologize.
Nope, it's all good.
Time in.
Okay. Where were we? So child eye had x-rays done that showed that there was an enlarged stomach consistent with having air deliberately forced in. Twice, this baby was found to have excess air in its stomach.
Not just once, but twice?
Mm-hmm, twice.
What? How do you...
That poor thing.
I understand missing it once. Like, I understand the missing it once, but the fact that it was twice.
So babies need to burp, right? Because when they feed, they get lots of air in their stomach. That's the reason why we burp them. If they're on any sort of like increased respiratory support, so like high flow or BiPAP or like CPAP, anything that like forces air in, they can get extra air in their stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in babies that have like a feeding tube, so an NG tube or a G tube, that you really can't get extra air in your stomach through the feeding tube that way.
Mm.
Yeah, because it's a controlled force.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to force air into their stomachs if they have a feeding tube.
Yeah. So once is this happens. Twice
once
is
is suspicious. Once is suspicious. Twice is this is red flags.
I don't even know that I would say that once is suspicious. I mean, we have lots of babies that just get lots of air in their stomach. But twice is weird.
Twice in a short amount of time is weird.
Particularly for it to be enough air to cause them to have difficulty breathing.
Yeah.
On the date, so Lucy later searched for this mother on Facebook and sent her a card on the day of the funeral and kept photos of the card on her phone.
Like trophies. Sick. I mean, yeah. I don't mean like wicked sick. I mean like this is disturbing. Like,
yeah.
It's disgusting sick.
Yes.
Yeah. So, again on October 23rd, Dr. Berry became concerned after the death of child I, and their staffing review finds that Lucy was present in more unusual deaths. Another physician, Dr. Jerry Ram, alerts management but is told not to make a fuss. Lucy remains on the unit. Dr. Jerry Ram recounted finding Lucy at the bedside of an infant who was desaturated with no alarms going off. The breathing tube was reportedly dislodged. Lucy told the court that she was trying to let the infant recover on her own. She was not tried on this incident initially, despite the infant dying 3 days later. However, a trial date has been set for later this summer.
For later this summer.
Correct. 2024.
Good. Sorry.
No. February 6th, 2016. So, following year. A review ordered by Dr. Brewery finds several common links in the deaths of 9 infants since June of 2015. Lucy's connection is mentioned at a meeting called to discuss the report, which is then sent to the medical director. Brewery requests an urgent meeting with executives, but no meeting is held until May 2016. Around April of 2016, Lucy's moved to day shift. The suspicious collapses follow her to day shift.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Of course they do. April 9th, 2016. Child L's IV fluids had insulin injected into the bag, killing him. His twin, Child M, collapses several hours later, likely from an IV air embolism. He survives with his brain damaged. So if you remember, almost like Child's E and F.
Yeah, just exactly like it.
Child L received twice the insulin of Child F. So we're learning.
There were warnings, I think, that everybody was just kind of oblivious to. Like, you work in a hospital setting, I worked in a hospital setting. There are things that you just don't miss.
Anyways.
No.
Time back
Anyway.
in.
Interesting. Do you know how with a lot of these cases, you're getting stuff from like news reports, right? Because that's all you've got available. Maybe Child L didn't die? I'm reading a news article from the parents of babies L and M, who said that Letby was calm and cool as doctors tried to save baby M and started acting hostile towards them after he survived.
Huh.
Interesting.
The more you know.
G.I. Joe.
Really, everything I've read says that baby L died. Now I'm curious. Anyway, moving on in the timeline. That's a mystery for another day.
The history and mystery.
May 11th, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Brewery finally gets his meeting with the medical director and the director of nursing after an assurance document is sent out stating why Lucy was not believed to be the cause of deaths, but rather other NHS services were to blame for the sudden spike in deaths. Brewery says he felt dismissed.
I mean, I would too. Like, I have these concerns. I bring them to you guys like I'm supposed to do. And you just dismissed me when we didn't have these issues before she showed up.
Right.
And it's following her no matter what shift we put her on. The math's trying to math, but you're not letting it.
No, the math ain't math in here, honey.
Yep. Okay, well, maybe baby L did survive. Okay, well, moving on.
Oh, good. Baby L survived.
Yay!
Yay! Survival. June 3rd.
This is the worst game of Survivor ever, by the way.
It's almost as bad as the Donner Party.
Oh, I've already done the Donner Party.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's fine.
Anyways.
Keep going.
June 3rd, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So less than a month afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Child N suffers a collapse, then nearly dies after suffering trauma to his throat 12 days later. Doctors reported seeing blood and swelling in his throat upon examination.
So doctors saw the blood and swelling and didn't think...
They thought maybe it was caused by an NG tube.
So he was hooked. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I would understand with an NG tube or something like that. But I mean, like, the fact that these kids are just dropping like flies at this point
Yep.
is
Yeah.
concerning.
And if I remember correctly, they attempted to intubate this baby but couldn't get him intubated because of the swelling.
That's a lot of swelling.
Yeah.
He survived. He did have a history of hemophilia, but had been like previously stable, no bleeding concerns prior to this happening. June 23rd, 2016. Child O was due to be discharged when he suddenly collapsed. He recovered but collapsed 2 more times before dying. X-rays showed an abnormal amount of gas in his body and a liver damage that pathologists ruled had resulted from impact injury.
Impact
injury?
Right.
Yes.
Like what? Was she trying to give him CPR and she did it wrong?
No idea.
I have so many questions, but keep going.
So this was the first murder after she'd come back from a holiday to Ibiza. Comes back from vacation.
She came back
right back to murder.
But I don't Okay. Yep.
13 minutes after his child O died, Lucy was feeding his triplet brother, child P, pushed air into his stomach, putting excessive pressure on his diaphragm, causing him to collapse as well. Lucy was reported as asking, "He's not leaving here alive, is he?" She allegedly made a similar remark about child C. X-ray showed an inexplicable amount of air in his body. The third triplet was transferred to a different hospital as the physician on had concerns about Lucy being a danger to the infant.
Well, I would assume so.
I'm glad that they transferred the last triplet out.
Right.
Yeah. The parents, because the medics arrived to transport child P, and when child P died, the parents begged that the medics take child O to a different hospital.
This is
so. Yeah. After these 2 deaths, Dr. Berry called the on-duty executive asking for Lucy to be removed from the unit.
Good.
Good. The executive insists that Lucy is safe to be at work, and she is happy to take any responsibility if anything happened while Lucy was on duty. The next day, another infant almost died under Lucy's care. Lucy was removed from duties by the middle of July 2016 after returning from vacation and placed in clerical role.
Shit that should have happened long before this.
There's varying reports about like where she ended up getting put in this like clerical role, but the consensus is that she ended up in like some sort of like safety and monitoring like office.
She is not the person to be doing safety and monitoring.
Irony.
Agreed.
It's not that it's irony, it's blasphemous is what it is, like if there is a hell for her, she gonna have fun swimming it.
Yeah. In September of 2016, so 2 months after she's been removed, an independent review by the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health was organized by the medical director and the chief executive. This report was made available in October 2016 and recommended a detailed case review of each death.
Good.
An outside neonatologist was requested to review the cases. She identified 4 that would potentially benefit from a local forensic review as to circumstances, personnel, etc.
So they had outside bodies come in.
Correct.
Okay.
Lucy raised a formal complaint about her transfer to the board, who approved her return to clinical duties in January of 2017, apologized to her on behalf of the hospital, and ordered the physicians who raised their concerns to apologize as well, saying that her removal had been orchestrated by the consultants with no hard evidence and was a witch hunt.
There's a special place in hell. I just got to remind myself that special place in hell.
There's a special place in hell. Yes.
Yes.
April of 2017, physicians met with the Cheshire Constabulary to raise their concerns, and the hospital announced the involvement of the police a month later.
Because they're like, well, the board's not going to listen to us anymore. We're just going to go straight to the police at this point.
Right. Which, good
So,
for them.
Good for them. July of 2018, Lucy was arrested on 8 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder. She bailed out. She was then arrested on June 10th. Wait. Hold on. She was then arrested on June 10th, 2019 on 8 counts of murder and 9 counts of attempted murder, and she bailed out again. She was arrested a third time on November 10th of 2020 on 8 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder, and she was denied bail this time. Her home was searched multiple times. Yes. Her home was searched multiple times during this, and evidence was found, including over 200 pages of documentation on patient care, including blood gases, handover sheets, like papers that she'd written notes down on about patient care, like all of this stuff that in the U.S. should be protected by HIPAA.
I mean, I understand for getting like a Post-it note in your pocket, like patient 203, insulin, whatever cc's, like I understand.
Yeah.
I've done that before, like writing it down so I remember to do it later kind of thing. I do it and then I just stick it back in my pocket. No, you can't take patients' notes home. That's illegal.
Correct. And then they found documentation of hospital records that had been falsified by changing times in which the infants collapsed to make it look like she wasn't there. That a colleague had done it. In addition to like when she changed the feed times and this other patient. Hot mess. And
trying to shift the blame around.
Yeah.
Post-its in her house. I'm gonna show these post-its real fast.
Okay.
To the group chat.
Okay, let me.
With writings like, I am evil, I did this why, I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to care for them.
That's just a few eggs shy of a basket.
Oh, the second one's a little blurrier than I wanted it to be.
So no, sorry. It's fine. What her handwriting? Let me tell you. Down at the bottom, I am evil. I did this. Yes, you did.
Yep.
The other one is kind of blurry.
Yeah. See if I can find a better one.
No, it's fine. I hate my life. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Her post-its are. Oh, there's another post-it.
Today is your birthday. Something. I think it's, and you're not, and you weren't here, and I'm so sorry for that.
Yeah.
I mean, here, I'll show this one too. Her notes, her writing is like all over the place. It's on top of each other. Like, she's writing over her own notes. I haven't seen a whole lot of.
I want someone to help me.
But I believe that this is probably what it looks like.
She accidentally put it down.
She pulled a U.
Yes. Oh my god, the bottom of the second post-it. I want someone to help me, but they can't.
I was like, oh no, I got dropped.
Did you close the chat?
No, I didn't close the chat. It's like, we're closing your video window because your memory is low. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, here's the other one. Good lord. Fuck.
All right. Holy sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
You need like the 3D glasses to look at this shit.
Yeah. I'm sure
the red and names.
Then yeah, like she's written all over everything. The board now insists that they were misled by the reviews that were done and believe the deaths to be due to issues with leadership and timely intervention.
Because they're covering their own asses now.
Because they're covering their own asses now. The board says that, the review that was done by the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, as well as the report from the outside neonatologist, wasn't explained to them fully, and they were only given like an overview. I feel like maybe you should have read those yourselves.
Right.
I feel like they already had their minds made up and just weren't going to listen to matter what the third party said.
Sweep it under the rug.
Mm-hmm. And now it's biting their asses.
Got one more to share. So this is a snapshot of her diary.
Okay.
And allegedly, according to police, there were like color-coded asterisks that were put in on days where she murdered.
Okay, I see it. Hold on. It says like LO.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's not like a normal calendar either. It's like a baby.
It's a very childlike, not like a that. What's the
planner?
I'm looking for? Planner. Yes, thank you. There were also, I saw some text messages, from Letby to like her coworkers, and one of them was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be watching these babies like a hawk."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she talks about how, it's always me.
I wonder why.
Because she's the problem. She's the, hi, it's me. That's her. That's her. She's the problem. It's her.
Mm.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I know what the title of the episode now is.
The BBC, one of the BBC journalists was there at the trial the entire time and spent time compiling her text messages, and it's all in this article that they wrote. We're gonna go with they.
Always a safe bet.
Other nurses to tell them about her involvement with the babies who collapsed, and it looked like she was fishing for sympathy, is what this article says. 6/14/2015. So that was in between child N and child O. That's all a bit much. 2015? Oh, that's 2016. Okay. 2015. 6/14. So that was after she murdered child C. It's all a bit much.
In the very beginning.
And then, no one should have to see and do the things we do. It's heartbreaking, but it's not about me. 6/22/2015. So
wait.
After she murdered child D.
Let's reverse. Let's go back. Let's just reread that part. I'm sorry. It's not about me.
It's not about me.
Everything in this episode has to do about her. It's her. She's the equal. Like, this is a math problem. She is the
common denominator.
Thank you.
English
is hard,
thing, right? Like I have dealt with a lot of death across my career, and I don't think once have I ever said in a text message, "Oh, but it's not about me," when like lamenting that a patient died. Like not once, because that's the furthest thing from my brain. Like my brain is like, "Oh, this poor family, oh, their poor friends." Like never once would I be like, "Oh, but it's not about me."
You from working, I mean, even though I was a medical assistant, I only did labs and I did blood draws. I still thought it was my fault because maybe I accidentally nicked an artery, or maybe I accidentally did this or did that. You overthink. How would you not? I'm really okay. My brain is going to implode. I need to calm down.
6/22/2015.
Mm-hmm.
So the day that child D died after collapsing 3 times. Sometimes I think, how do such sick babies get through and others just die so suddenly and unexpectedly? Guess it's how it's meant to be.
She's the one that did it.
Or maybe you need to not be nursing.
6/21/2016. So after she was like due to come back from her vacation, right? She'd been in Ibiza. Probably be back with a bang, LOL.
And then kills the child immediately.
No.
6/24/2016. So after child O had been murdered, she said, I will be watching them both like a hawk. In regards to child P and their other triplet.
Why? Did she want to make sure he died quicker?
6/27/2016. So this is allegedly after she began to realize she was under suspicion. My head is a mess. There must be a problem.
No shit.
Seriously.
They onto you, Scooby-Doo.
Right, seriously. If it weren't for them pesky kids.
And then, so based on all the reports of like the trial that I've read, she was basically very stoic, no emotion whatsoever throughout the entire trial, until a physician that she says that she loved like a friend, but had allegedly been like sending flirty text messages to, got up on the witness stand. At which point she broke down in tears. At no point during the rest of the trial had she ever, like, not once had she wept for the babies, for the families, for herself, just tears because he was a witness at her trial.
And it wasn't a witness for her.
No.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's fun. Anyway, so as of August 2023, an additional 2,500 infants had been cared for in the same unit that Lucy worked, with only one death. The unit had been downgraded after her attacks, but between 2015 and 2016, the unit recorded more than double its previous average annual deaths. Lucy had searched for a number of parents on social media. When asked why she had done it after she had searched for the parents of child O on the anniversary of his death, she responded that she could not explain why she would be doing it. It was also revealed during the trial that Lucy had be told more than once not to enter the room of the parents of one of the victims, where one of the victims were grieving. Where the parents of one of the victims were grieving.
I know I keep saying there's a lot to say. There is a lot to say.
There is a lot to say. There's an interview with one of the moms where Lucy came in and helped bathe the infant after she had passed to get her ready to go down to the morgue. And Lucy made comments about how she remembered how happy she was and whatever. And it's like, now's not the time.
No, you do it silently.
Because again, it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
You do it silently and only say anything if the parents say something to you.
Yeah.
You try to make it as gentle as possible because they are grieving.
Right.
And you go in, you perform the duties, you go out.
Yeah. So, where is it? Yeah. So, this is very, 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 very weird child. Lucy was convicted and sentenced to multiple whole life terms, one for each offense in August of 2023. She is appealing. Her first appeal attempt in February was denied. She has another appeal coming up next week on the 25th. And there will be protesters at her appeal because they think that she was wrongfully convicted.
Oh, I was thinking protesters for her.
No, they want to free Lucy.
What the fuck?
Why? She's not innocent.
She's not.
Well, there it is.
Some people are cuckoo.
That's
And not for Cocoa Puffs.
right. I was gonna say, it's putting it lightly.
When asked about the Facebook searches she'd made for baby's parents, she replied, "That was a normal pattern of behavior for me."
But
When
it's
she was
not
asked about
normal.
taking nursing documents home with her and storing them, "That was a normal pattern of behavior for me."
That's not normal, though.
It's not normal. It's not
Shit, you're
normal at
not
all.
supposed to do. Shit, you're not supposed to do for 300, please.
Right. That's some fucky shit is what that is.
But listen, the first thing I do when I sit down at my desk, whether it's after rounds or after doing a loop or whatever, first thing I do is I empty out all of my fucking pockets.
Because you collect things as you go.
Because, I've got a blood gas and I don't know what to do with it, but I need to go to this other patient's room, so I fold it up and I put it in my pocket. The first thing I do when I sit down at my desk is I empty my pockets, so that the first thing I do when I get ready to leave at the end of the day is I can shove it all in the shred bin.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not a normal pattern of behavior.
I mean, she's not a normal person. If nobody is
this journalist is right. It sounds rehearsed. It sounds like a rehearsed reply when you're trying to not lie.
What is that one TikTok sound? I am kidnapped. Not good. I am seeking ransom of 50. You only think I'm worth $50,000. I am seeking ransom of 100,000. That's better. $100,000. Like, no, this is like pre-planned shit. So stupid.
Yeah. So, and apparently, like, she was, like, I wouldn't say open, but she answered easily the questions from her own defense lawyer. But then when it switched to the prosecution, I guess she got, it says, at first Letby coped well. She clearly felt equal to her interrogator, and her knowledge of the neonatal medicine was obvious. Sometimes it veered on cocky. She disagreed with established nursing guidelines, senior doctors, and medical experts. There were even moments where she tried to outsmart Johnson, who's the prosecution lawyer. Those never ended well. The prosecutor picked holes in her testimony, pointing out the difference between what she'd told the police after her arrest and what she was saying in court. He found examples of her disagreeing with herself, highlighting evidence that she had previously agreed and was now disputing.
She can't keep her story straight.
Can't keep her story straight.
And good for him from punching holes into it.
And the defendant's delivery started to change. She became staccato and monosyllabic, which is what you do when you're lying and you've been caught.
Mm-hmm.
Her voice level dropped to a whisper, and even though I was just a few meters away, it was becoming harder and harder to hear her. And then, for the first time, she asked to stop. Nick Johnson had been asking her about each baby in the order they appeared on the charge sheet. We were only 4 babies in. Remembered wondering how on earth we were going to manage to get through the remaining 13. The jury was asked to leave the room. We were told that Letby's welfare officer had visited her. Court finished early for the day, and the prosecution team walked out looking jubilant. Should.
Right.
I have a question.
Yep.
So, I know I have a lot of questions. That doesn't ever change. I always have questions. Okay. I'm putting this in English, so give me a second. When somebody goes to trial, right? And they're, medical, right? Normally they have a trial of their peers at their own facility, right? Kind of like the Grey's Anatomy thing, where they ask them questions like why they did what they did. Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Because they didn't do it at my hospital, but they did do, it was kind of like, what is it? And not a jury of their peers, but kind of like a board, like a hearing. And only...
and it's usually made up by the board, who is usually like the medical director, the CMO, and like the CNO, and
right,
like upper level medical leadership. Right.
Okay, so that's all right. So her saying it's enough, I want to stop. She shouldn't have if she committed all of these atrocities, why is she saying she wants to stop? That's what I have a problem with. I have a very big problem with that. Okay. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I mean, it gets worse.
So it gets, hold on. It gets worse. So she's already murdered these babies. She's already putting on this victim front.
Yeah.
Then I'm the victim. It is her. She's the problem. But I mean, now it gets worse from here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. At least I'm prepared for that.
So Lucy was convicted and sentenced to multiple whole life terms, one for each offense in August of 2023. She's appealing, so we talked about that.
Okay.
Her license has been revoked.
Mm-hmm.
As it should.
Mm-hmm.
As it should. And she didn't have to show up for her sentencing hearing.
I'm sorry. Don't you have to?
Not in England. They're working to fix that. But yeah, not in England. You don't.
It's an option.
It's an option.
Optional.
No.
Like PE.
Maybe for
PE
you
was not optional.
Maybe for you it was not optional. We'll get into that in a second. Anyways.
Yeah. So it's being and having her license revoked. The panel, the Nursing and Midwifery Council, had her fill out like a tick box exercise if she accepted the charges. And she took yes to each one of the charges. Added a statement: I do not wish to take part or be present at the hearing. Do not resist the application to strike me off the nursing register. Accept the facts of the convictions. However, I do not accept that I am guilty of any of the allegations. Maintain my innocence in respect of all of the convictions. These convictions are now the subject of an appeal. The NMC, the Nursing Midwife Council, their position is that Letby has put patients at unwarranted risk of harm, brought the profession into disrepute, and breached fundamental tenets of the profession.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nursing. Florence Nightingale, where she started. Florence is rolling in her grave right now.
Probably, more than likely. I am under the assumption she was probably not hugged as a child. You know, that there's got to be some sort of reasoning as to why she's, a fucking murderer.
I wish I could say that, but I can't.
No.
She had a loving childhood, didn't she?
One of the investigators called her beige.
Beige?
Beige.
Like,
her background was shockingly normal.
So she just rolled out of bed one day and just decided to murder children.
Apparently.
I mean, her bedroom is done up in very childlike decor, right? There's like stuffed animals, which I can't say anything because I sleep with a Winnie the Pooh bear, but it's more for like shoulder support
Winnie
than anything else.
It's
Winnie the Pooh. It's more for shoulder. Okay, listen, when I sleep like curled in, so it's more for shoulder support than anything else.
She sleeps like Josh, like just tucked into yourself, you know?
I have a weighted axolotl, okay?
It's the tism. I have to sleep with my arms in the T-Rex position, okay?
It's a family thing too.
Why do you think my neuropathy's acting up? It's because lately I've been so stressed. I've been sleep. I even told Rachel, I woke up the other day and I was like this and I couldn't feel my fucking hands.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's got like, if I can find out her room, like pinks
it was
and
very
purples,
childlike.
and like she had like a fluffy pink bathrobe, and
I want a fluffy pink bathrobe, but only because
I do too.
Yeah, only because I wanted to say bitchin' on the back, you know.
Oh, there we go. It's just very, I don't know, it's very like a room I would have had in high school, right? Like not
I don't know. I don't know if we had the same rooms in high school.
Oh, that's maybe true.
I mean, mine were covered in post.
I was thinking more when we were still in the Kimbrell house with the stuffed animals everywhere and the toys.
The images include pictures of her messy bedroom, which contained teddy bears, fairy lights over the bed, a pink bathrobe, and inspirational quotes on her wall, such as "Leaf sparkles wherever you go."
Do I need to Google this? I'm gonna Google it.
Here, yeah, you just, here. Hold on, I'll just copy the link and send it to you.
Okay.
That works. Even better.
Because I play Tetris. Everybody knows I play Tetris when we're on this podcast, so I don't have anxiety attacks. I'm still paying attention. I'm just okay. The mirror.
Where'd she go?
I don't
know. Just bloop out.
Forensic psychologist Dr. Naomi Murphy, who has spent 25 years working with serious violent and sexually violent criminals in prisons and hospitals, told The Mirror that her bedroom decor suggests she had struggled to let go of that stage of her life.
It's just
her bedroom
so
messy. So messy. Slightly immature feel to it, perhaps more consistent with a teenager than a grown woman.
It's very teenagery.
It is.
But Dr. Murphy warns that we will place any great weight on her bedroom. Which is true, right? Like, neurospicy here. My bedroom is constantly a mess.
Same.
Okay. My husband's very regimented. So it is sometimes, but only on my side of the bed.
It's a controlled mess.
It's a controlled chaos. Which is the name of a really good band.
Yes.
Anyways, keep going. I'm here. I'm here for this.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that BBC journalist who was at the trial and did the, had all of the, the trial timeline. They talked to, because we don't presume pronouns here.
Right.
They talked to her childhood friend who was like, yeah, no, it's like a completely normal upbringing. She talked about being a nurse when she was very little. They were nerdy. They weren't the popular girls, but they spent their lunch times studying and trying to get ahead. And she said that Lucy had a plan. She wanted to be a nurse, and that was what she was going to do with her life.
Right. So
her parents were at the trial the whole time. Her mom allegedly cried and was like, no, you can't have this right. Sounds like a very normal upbringing.
I would understand if there was some trauma there. I'm not putting this, I do not wish this on anybody, but maybe she was fondled or raped as a child. I would understand that. Or maybe she was beaten or abused. No, none of that. Just normal, everyday stuff.
White suburban family.
The caucasity of this is astonishing.
Yep.
Born with the screw loose.
She's got more than
You're
just a
that
screw
way.
loose, but I'm sorry.
Right. She's born with it. Maybe it's not trauma.
Yeah. So Dawn told the BBC journalist, it was always her aspiration, her dream to become a nurse and to help babies. She told me she had quite a difficult birth herself and had been quite poorly when she was younger, and I think that affected a lot of her life. Unwavering in her loyalty and her belief that her friend was incapable of murder, was it possible that Letby had pulled the wool over her eyes? Dawn said, the only way I'd ever believe she was guilty is if she told me she was guilty.
There's a lot to unpack with that sentence. How do you not? I mean, I understand how you, we have, people like, Gary Ridgway and, frickin' what's his name? Oh God, what's his name? Jeffrey Dahmer, People Dahmer. So we have people like that. Monitors, so I can remember things. They're very charismatic. And there's no way that you would ever think. So I would understand why her friend didn't think that she could be capable of murder, but she is.
Yep.
It's sad. Sorry, keep interrupting.
So that's good.
She had a not perfect birth. Okay. I came out blue, and I'm okay. I'm a little wonky because the tism, but but I'm not out killing people.
No,
Yep.
we don't murder people. That's how we murder people, Carl.
Anyway, so Lucy placed blame on the hospital, the other staff working there. Almost all of her victims had other vulnerabilities, which make their deaths seem like they were natural or accidental. She told jurors she wanted to look after the most seriously ill babies. She was trained as a Band 5 nurse, meaning she was qualified for care for those in the ICU, and she complained to colleagues when she was not assigned to those most in need. Jurors were told by the prosecution that she may have even attacked the babies to get attention from a married male doctor whom she loved as a friend but denied they were dating. But then that's the one she cried about on the stand.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Shocking.
Not in a good way.
No.
Prosecution also suggests that maybe she was bored at work when she decided to attack an infant, having spent hours on her phone sending messages to her friends, planning her fitness classes, and even attacking one infant after placing a horse racing event.
Bored?
I'm sorry.
Bored. I do a lot of things at work when I'm bored. I don't murder people.
Right? I'm working on knitting a blanket right now when I get bored at work. I watch Netflix.
All I can think of is the Grinch. Or not the Grinch. Any is there death, 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 afternoon tea, death, death, lunch, death, death, death. I'm simply booked, darling. Like, what?
Right?
Yep. Yeah, I climb the stairs, go outside and touch some grass. Yeah, I know.
Maybe she just needed to touch grass more. I'm gonna assume. Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna know but Lucy unless she decides to own up to it.
Get a coloring book with some coloring pencils.
Right.
You work with impeds. Like,
there's some great coloring books. I have one that's like foul mouth sayings, and one of them is like cluck you, and it's got a big hen on it. Another one says Rocky Road and has some ice cream. You know, like just random things that people say instead of actually swearing.
Yeah.
I also have like
so many other things to do.
So many other things to do. But there is an ongoing public inquiry by the UK government to determine how she was allowed to kill for so long, despite the concerns that were being raised, and whether the NHS, governance structures, and professional regulation is effective in keeping babies in the hospital safe.
Well, if she's there, the babies aren't going to be safe.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's Lucy and her. Not quite a year. No, a whole year of murder.
Lucy is a shit human. Can we just all agree on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
She is the problem.
She is the problem. If you know, Tay-Tay was ever writing a song about her, she's definitely the fucking problem.
It's a true story.
This story made me die 4 times on Tetris, by the way. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. When we talk about murdering, like, nurses who kill, it's, you know, the usual is that they want to feel like God, or they have a savior complex, and I think she just did it because she fucking could. Because it wasn't even like she attempted to resuscitate babies when she killed them. She just stood there, watched them die,
and watched them.
I think.
Now, is it possible that she was doing it as like an attention-seeking thing for herself, like a Munchausen? It's possible.
But I mean, could it? Because I studied Munchausen because of the Gypsy Rose thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I did a deep dive into it after she went to court originally. What, like 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that.
So, could you get Munchausen?
Munchausen?
By proxy. Could you get Munchausen's by yourself?
So, fun fact, Munchausen was the original diagnosis. Munchausen by proxy is when you do it to somebody else to get the attention for yourself.
Oh, okay.
So Munchausen is when you like you're purposely hurting yourself. You're purposely doing things to bring attention to yourself. Munchausen by proxy is when you're doing it to somebody else for the same end.
Okay, that makes sense. So she was
So
probably doing that.
Could she be a little munchy? It's possible.
A little munchy.
A little munchy.
She needs to eat a Snickers.
I don't think she can.
Snickers.
I think that's contraband.
More.
Where she's at.
Probably.
Probably.
He apparently allegedly spends like 23 hours a day in her cell.
I would assume so. She's a baby killer.
She's in the same jail as the other 3 women who are serving life sentences for murder.
Yep. That'll do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're keeping a close watch on her.
I mean, I would too.
Because she could be suicidal, or somebody else in the jail might be feeling homicidal.
She killed babies.
That part's
probably it.
Somebody else is probably feeling a little stabby, and so they have to keep her under close watch because of that.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing them go, Lucy, you right? Oh yeah, I'm fine. It's just a little stab, no big deal.
It's a little flesh wound.
Flesh wound.
It's just a flesh wound. Oh my god.
A little laughter with today's trauma.
Oh my god, it was traumatic. Like, I mean, I don't personally have babies myself. I have adopted babies. But I mean, I'm under the assumption that she mainly stays in her cell for as long as she does. Not because she likes her own company, because obviously we can see from the Post-it notes, she don't. I think it's because she was out one day and they were like, you need to get the fuck out of here because you murdered babies. And she's like, I'm just going to go over here then. And I'm not going to leave.
Or somebody else probably said something to the guards and like, hey, it ain't a good idea to have her out here amongst us because she might not make it out of the yard alive.
Right.
And they went, okay, we're going to just put her in almost complete isolation now.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, or it's possible that that's just what they do with their people that are in life sentences for murder.
I mean,
that's valid too.
That's right. That's valid too. I mean, I know for a fact in the United States, when somebody goes for murder, they're just generally put on lockdown. But when it involves children, they're on supervised lockdown and they're in a specific section. Because if they're released into Gen Pop, they're the first people murdered.
Yeah. Yeah.
My friend is a jailer.
Oh, that's right. Apparently, she has the keys to her own cell. Allegedly, right?
So she can lock herself in at night.
So that she can lock herself in whenever she wants to.
Man.
I don't want
so she don't feel safe around the other people. Okay.
I'm telling you. It's the baby killers. Okay, so like, what's his name? Polyclass. Do you guys remember? Mm-hmm. I know you probably remembered, Sylvia. Do you remember anything about Polyclass, Rachel?
Name sounds familiar.
My mom would not let me walk to school for a full month after the whole Polyclass thing. We donated my car to the Polyclass Foundation. What they do is they dismember it and then they sell off the parts for money for, search and rescue for children so they can go find them. Polyclass, her murderer, I think he was killed. Like, I don't remember, but I think it was like one guy they talked about it. I will look it up and I will insert clip here. Polyclass is a case that we will be covering later on in this podcast. Richard Davis was Polyclass's murderer. He is currently on death row at San Quentin Prison, awaiting for his final sentence to be carried out. Anyways, so there was a guy who literally, after he killed someone, went out into Gen Pop within 5 minutes. It was his first day in jail. And he was murdered. Because word had gotten around the yard that this guy, who was all over the headlines, was going to that particular jail, and they had a head bounty on him.
Yeah, because they got TVs in jail, like, and most of the time it's on the news.
Look, let me tell you, I was like, God damn. Like, I do not want to be, like, my friend told me about this because her husband is the jailer. He comes home from work and he goes, I need you to call Kat because this is insane. He gets on the phone with me and he goes, so your ex is in jail here? And I said, yeah. And he goes, he had to be put in solitary. And I said, why? Well, there was a riot. Oh my God, can you tell me what happened? So he told me everything that happened. And my first response was, did he survive? Unfortunately, he did. But we're going to talk about what happened. And because of the riot, you know, San Quentin's a huge prison, but it's where the worst offenders in California go.
Yeah.
And this thing was talked about in the press. Like, how did he get put in Gen Pop? How did all this other stuff happen? There was a mix up with the documentation. So instead of him being put in slot E, he was put in slot A. So there was like a lot of different.
It was just a mistake, and
right.
It almost cost somebody their life.
So the fact that she's able to have keys. No. Mm-mm. She needs to either be put in solitary, have access to the library, and just be put in solitary like the rest of them do, or be put in Gen Pop. Give you two options. You don't get your own keys to. No.
Yeah. So it's been reported that she has befriended fellow baby killer Michelle Smith, who had poisoned her daughter in 2007, and Shauna Hoare, who had helped kill a 16-year-old schoolgirl, Becky Watts. Source told the Mirror that the trio of killers had been playing board games together and sat with each other when it came to eating meals.
Because they're baby killers.
And so I think they got on because they all believed they were innocent.
No, I'm still under the assumption they got on because they're baby killers. Look, nope. Are there any?
I just can't.
Are there any updates aside from the fact that she's on trial this year?
So she's got her appeal coming up next week, the 25th of April.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she's got another trial this summer for baby. I don't remember. For a different baby. The one with the breathing tube that was dislodged.
Dislodged.
Yes.
Air quotes.
Suspiciously dislodged.
Right. I hope she rots. I hope she gets another term. I hope she stops lying. I honestly do. I hope she's already convicted. There's no way that she's going to be able to get out on appeal. There's no way. There's far too much evidence to.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Mm-mm. I had fun today. That was, I don't know if I can say fun, but
it was enlightening.
It was enlightening.
The laughs were fun.
The laughs were fun. The laughs were great. She really is the problem. It's her. Thanks, Tay Swift. We love us some Tay Tay. Stay spooky. Ask your nurses questions. I'm gonna go hug some stuffed animals for like a good 5 minutes.
I'm gonna go touch some grass.
I'm gonna go touch some grass. That too. Oh no, I can't because they just mowed the grass. I don't want to break out in hives. I just finally stopped breaking out in hives, okay? That pain is latex.
I know.
I can get it on my skin and I'll be fine. I'll just be very itchy, but if I ingest it, I will die. I found that out. If it touches my outer skin, I'm fine. But if it touches my insides, and that's what we learned at the OBGYN. So, stay spooky. Hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe. Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't kill people.
Please don't.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Next time on the Pandemonium Witches.
So her nickname actually was Jolly Jane.
Jolly Jane?
He sewn his own eyelids closed while he worked as
What?
a tailor.
She's just wilding out with opioids.
So she did all of this work
Uh-huh.
and everything and never officially graduated. And she flourished at private nursing despite committing constant petty theft.